and making some. You're probably gonna hear Bluey in the background. It's probably playing in the background at your house too, so there's that. But we are doing a really big preservation day today. I have a big old bag of tomatoes from the freezer that I've been throwing in there slowly over the course of the beginning of the season as we got a tomato here or there. So we are going to make this in a chili base today. We are going to be using Mrs. Wage's seasoning packets to make the chili base. I absolutely love it. Very simple, very easy, and that's how I got into canning in the beginning, was through the Mrs. Wage's packets. They're very simple, very easy to use. It really is just taking your garden produce, dumping it into a stock pot, adding in the packet, and then loading it into jars. So behind me here, I already started a double batch of sweet corn. We're just gonna be blanching and freezing today. We are also going to hopefully be starting to preserve some of the things I have in this basket here. I have some broccoli and green beans in the fridge that need to be blanched as well as some in this basket that I harvested yesterday afternoon. I also have pickles that are ready to be pickled, so I have pickles in here. I went and harvested dill yesterday. We have that in here. Lots of different tomatoes here. These are the Amish paste. So we're gonna see what all we can get done today. Today's a good day to do it because it's literally like 94 degrees here, which is, I don't know what's happening with this Wisconsin summer, but it is brutal. So today's a good day to just stay inside and get as much canning done as we can. I'm getting a lot later of a start today, but we had to run some errands this morning. So let's start now. I did take the time to core these before I put them in the freezer. A couple of weeks ago, we preserved a bunch of freezer tomatoes that I had in the freezer from 2023's garden, and I said I did not take the time to core all of those. So this season, I'm definitely making sure I'm taking the time to core them before I put them in the freezer, because that was a pain in the butt to go back and core them frozen. I did not love that. So we're gonna thaw these out with a little bit of warm water. Then I'm gonna put them in this pot and just kind of let them sit, let them continue to thaw in the pot for a while. I will also core out some of these fresh tomatoes that I have and add these to the stock pot. I would like to do a triple batch of chili base today. I am completely out, or almost completely out, of chili base. I think I might have 1 or 2 pint jars left on the canning shelf. It very quickly became one of my favorites. I canned it in, I think, 2021. I went through 2022 and 2023 without touching it, and then late into 2023 and all of 2024. I'm absolutely loving it. It's one of my favorite things. We use them to make a Spanish style rice, or we use it for chili. We also have used it as a taco seasoning in a pinch. It's really versatile, and I actually really like using it with my plump tomatoes and leaving it extra watery, because we like tomato juice in our chili anyways. So having it kind of all in one jar, the seasoning and the chili sauce and the tomato juice, is really convenient. Ooh, that sounds gross.
We're sick of you all together completely as a whole, not just with bikingers. All of us hate you.
I am going to save these tomatoes. These have been our favorite for eating. They are delicious. These are, I got these from the Amish shop as starts. They were labeled as Wisconsin 55s. I don't think that's what these are though, but they are delicious. You cut them open and it's that beautiful purple color. It's like a burgundy. I think it's some sort of wine tomato, but oh my gosh, it is amazing. It's delicious on sandwiches. We've been putting it on egg sandwiches in the morning. So we are going to save these. I also did Amish pastes and Romas. I'm going to try to save these for my sauces, because like I said, I like our chilies to be, or this chili base to be, a little bit more watery. So I'm going to go through and use more of our juicier tomatoes or slicing tomatoes. This year I actually did not grow any beef steaks or any big boys, better boys, anything like that. I only grew Wisconsin 55s. We're here in Wisconsin, so they're supposed to do really well here. I did Homestead tomatoes, which are these, which are supposed to be a really good dual purpose tomato, and they are. You can see there's a lot of meat in here and not a whole heck of a lot of seeds and juice, so it makes it a really good dual purpose tomato. You can use it as a slicer or as to make sauces and things, so we did those. Theo thought she was helping and she pulled off a ton of really green Roma tomatoes, so I'm hoping that they will ripen in the house, but if not, I guess we're gonna have some green tomatoes to eat or fry or something. These are those chocolate striped cherry tomatoes that we started together in the spring, and they are beautiful and absolutely fantastic. We're loving these. These are those moonbeams. We also started these in the spring, but they died, so I went to my local Amish shop and they actually had them as starts. But we love these because they're not as acidic. They're a little bit more sweet. They don't hurt your stomach. Like if you have issues with tomatoes, in the acid, you could try these. They're much better. They don't leave like cold sores or canker sores in your mouth or anything if you eat a ton of these. So these are fantastic. We love these. We don't grow regular cherry tomatoes anymore. And this is all saved for future projects. Do you want to help with these ones, Cleo? I can eat all the beans. Yeah.
I do like to get the kids involved whenever possible. It tends to make things go a little bit easier. So I was doing this kind of right before the baby was going to go down for a nap, so I just kind of propped her up on the bar stool here with me, and she entertained herself by eating beans or helping pull apart some of these smaller broccoli florets. So it all works out, but this is really how I get things done.
Good job, thank you. Now that my corn is off, I'm going to take my pot of tomatoes that we did. It already has lots of watery and tomato juice sculpting in the bottom here. We're gonna put this right on here. Get that cooking down. This pot is full of corn that the kids want to eat, so I think I put like 9 cobs in here, and the kids want these for like an afternoon snack. My cooling process go just a little bit quicker because you don't want to bag these when they're still super warm. I also want to give them a chance to dry off. They're not super wet, but just a little. And I can move these over to my kitchen table, give them some time to cool off. I'll cut these all in half and put these in gallon Ziploc freezer bags.
I just wanted to make sure that I was making the most out of my time in the kitchen. So I kind of took a minute before I even started to figure out what order I wanted to do things in. That way I could be making the most out of all of my burners and making sure that while things were cooking down, I had other projects that I could be finishing off while those were going. So once I got my all the corn pulled off, I got our chili based tomatoes started cooking down. I started blanching all of the other vegetables that needed to be blanched, and while those were going, I went ahead and started dicing or slicing up this corn, cutting it in half and getting it into Ziploc freezer bags. You do not need a vacuum sealer if you do not need to. I do have one, and I don't use it for my vegetables just because the vacuum seal bags are so expensive. I never have an issue, or hardly ever have an issue, at least up to the 1 year mark, storing my vegetables in regular Ziploc bags. They last just fine. if you're going past a year, that's when things can start to get a little bit dicey. But we ended up getting 3 gallons of cobbed corn in the freezer. I would like to go back and get some just like corn kernels in the freezer, but for now this is a really good start.
I am going to get this in the freezer for a quick flash freeze. Ideally, I would like it to be a little bit more one level than this, just kind of all flat, not on top of each other. But this is the pan that I have clean right now because I have stuff on all of my other pans that are larger than this. So this can do for now. I'm gonna drop this in the chest freezer, let flash freeze, and I will get another gallon of a mixed green veggie, which was our favorite last season. Also, this will be my 10th or 11th gallon of blanched veggies in the freezer, which is fantastic. If you think about it, 1 gallon of a month, so that's not too bad. We should have about 10 months worth. I would love to get more than that. I would love to double that. We'll see what comes out of the fall garden. In the fall garden, I have more broccoli, more green beans, and more snap peas that will be able to be blanched and frozen as well. And I have peppers in my fall garden as well. So lots of things happening, but hopefully we can double that, and that'll really push us into that year's worth of blanched veggies for us, which is awesome. Lots of mixes this year, switching it up a little bit, just trying to get a little bit more creative in what we are blanching and putting up, freezing and stuff. That way it gives us a little bit more variety into our fall winter mixes or veggies. Just gives us more options. So here's our broccoli green bean mix. We also have wax beans in here and a couple purple beans. So this is ready for the fall. These are our chili base packets here. They do have them in different hotness levels as well, or heat levels, however you want to say that, but I like these because they're super easy, ridiculously simple. All you need is about 6 fresh tomatoes, or 6 pounds fresh tomatoes rather, sugar, and then the chili base packet here. These are great to get your kind of feet wet if you want to start canning. There's nothing wrong with these. I still use these. I used their salsa for a long time too, until I found a recipe that I liked better. I found that last year. I have at least a double batch here. So I'm gonna add in 2 of these. I'm gonna add in 4 tablespoons of sugar. And then we just need to let this boil for a while, and your whole house is gonna smell delicious. Typically, I really like to leave this to one of the last things to can. I canned it in the fall last time, and it was glorious. My whole house smelled, I mean, like fall. It was, the windows were open, it was cool, we had that cool breeze coming in, and the house smelled like chili. It was amazing. But I'm just gonna let this mix. We need to let this simmer for about 25-30 minutes or so, and then it'll be ready to get into jars and cans. So what I'm going to do is kind of just stir this in for a minute. I'll add in my sugar. I already washed my jars. They're ready, sitting behind the counter or on the island for me. I'm gonna get my water bath canner up here, start getting that water warm as well, because if we're putting hot liquid into hot jars, we want our water to be warm in our canner. Get that heated up and ready to go. I'm just gonna turn that on a low heat, kind of let it simmer, start to get a little bit warm, because this does need to simmer on the stove here for a while. Let all of that incorporate here. You can also use these Mrs. Wages packets with store-bought crushed tomatoes. It says that right on the package. It gives you how many cans you would need. If you want to do this, maybe just try it out before you use your homegrown tomatoes. Those are precious. I understand that if this is something new for you, just to see if you like the process, but we love these. Just to help mix this in a little faster, I'm going to use my immersion blender. These process for 40 minutes, which is a longer period of time for water bath canning, but it is water bath canning safe. There's also directions to freeze it if you would rather freeze it, but there are directions on the back of the package. You can freeze if you would rather do this and freeze it. So there are options here. Our favorite way to use this is to make, obviously, chili. We also like to take a couple tablespoons of these and put it in our Instant Pot with some rice and some chicken broth, and we'll make like a chili based rice, which is really delicious.
I'm gonna open it. Actually good. That means you take the drawers out and put them in there.
Recap for today, we ended up getting 10 chili based pints for the pantry shelf, which is great. How I like to go about planning for things is I like to go monthly. It makes the most sense for me because I grocery shop once a month, so that's just how my brain works. So I think one a month for a 12-month stint is kind of what I shoot for. I like to have 12 of everything on the shelf. Now, do we use a lot of chili based in the summer? No, not really. The only way we use it in the summer is if we're using it for like chili cheese fries or chili cheese dogs or something like that. So we don't use it as often, but that's what I like to plan. So I try to shoot for 12 of everything, or a gallon of vegetables in the freezer. I'm thinking about a gallon a month. We typically go through more than a gallon a month, so I try to shoot for like 2 gallons of frozen vegetables for every month heading into the winter. So we are getting there. We're about halfway there. This chili base is actually great. I can't remember, I think I have 1 or 2 jars on the shelf left over from the last time I preserved this. So assuming that all of these seal, I should be at my 12, which is my goal for canned items, which is great. One thing checked off the list. We also got 3 gallons of cobbed corn in the freezer. I will do another purchase of corn from the farmer's market. We also have corn growing in the permaculture orchard this year. Don't know how that's going to turn out yield wise, but it's great because we're learning a lot on the corn and learning if it actually grows here. So next year we can hopefully grow a year's worth here on the property. But I will be putting in a bulk order and we will get some in the freezer. We will take that off the cob though and just get gallons of that in the freezer. We prefer frozen vegetables over canned vegetables, so that's why we preserve them that way, but that's really just personal preference. And we got a gallon of green beans and broccoli blanched in the freezer as well. So very productive day. A couple things crossed off of the list, which is great. I have a couple things left that I still like to do. I still have rhubarb juice, strawberry rhubarb jam, strawberry jam, and pickles on my list for the next couple of days. So lots of projects still coming. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope wherever you are, you're having a fantastic day, and I'll catch you guys in another one. Bye.